What's up, guys? It's Amajama here, and I'm going to go over a couple of my thoughts personally on the SPY that I'm looking for overall, levels, everything else. So we're at break even pretty much right now after a gap up on the SPY. So we did end up selling off pretty hard on the SPY the first couple of hours of open today. So really what we're looking for is a couple things. As far as for what I look for personally for loss of trend, perhaps a put swing entry, those type of things. There's a couple different instances that we had talked about earlier that I really liked puts at. And one was, of course, as we started to break into this area right here is a pretty important area. This was the FOMC impulsive breakout. And why that matters to me is if we look at the chart, we can see how every time we've hit this area, it moves pretty quickly. All right. It moved quick on the way up here. It was support here. It shot down through it here, shot down through it here, and we broke back up above it here. All right. So that to me is a pretty major area that I'm definitely watching. But long term, in my long term analysis, overall, there's a couple things, obviously, that I want to keep an eye on. All right. And the first one's going to be a lot of people are taking their fibs extension and going back like 20 years. Not me. You know why not me? This pullback from COVID was so substantial, it wiped up previous fib levels. It's not a continuation fibs when you pull back well past the 618, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, when I'm putting a fibs extension onto my chart, for the SPY here, and this isn't a fibs extension class, this is just me going over really what I'm looking at on the SPY. All right, I'm starting at that COVID low, and then the relative high, and then that relative low. And this day right here, this low was, and I talk about this often, you can look up the date right here on the weekly. This low was the Ukraine invasion. The day we got that, this might be, actually, I think it was February, June. It was either this wick down or this wick down. The day that it was revealed that, they invaded this and that was our low day. All the FOMO, all the fear, everything else happened before. It's a lot of that buy the rumor, sell the news type instance, all right? So if we look at these levels here, which we've got on our fibs extension chart, all right? And you always want, you know what? I forgot to turn it on. You always want logarithmic on when you're using fibs. Okay? Right here. This. You want your logarithmic chart. Alt-L. All right. So anyway, it didn't really change it. But so as we look at these fibs levels, what we immediately are looking at and I'm drawn to is we are at a major fib level here, the 705, which on extensions, I know that Doge loves the 705. On extensions, I leave it on as well. And we hit our head there. And the reason that it's pretty substantial to me is because this is 4 years of a chart. And it was pretty on the spot, these levels that we are hitting that resistance on, so on and so forth. All right. So there's a couple things I'm looking at here. The first is our 618. All right. So really what that would mean with the 618 on this pullback is to have a pullback here to that level. All right. So I'm just going to put this on really quick because I want to show you. Didn't mean to pull that up. So it's like 50108. All right. So that's the first level that's pretty major. I don't even need a line. We know that 523. So 618 on this pullback is probably the first real level I'm looking at to the 0.5. So we know this is like that pocket I look for us to settle in. All right. So let's do something else here. Where is our previous all-time high? Right here. We'll make that blue. All right, so this was the all-time high before the epic rip we went on of late. All right, so let's make that blue. Okay. And the third thing is, let's see what a regular fibs of our current breakout would entail. Now, this line's going to be a sliding scale, meaning every time we make a higher high, it moves. And that's understandable. All right. So we've established this was our previous all-time high. This is our fibs zone on the extension here and here, the 0.5 and the 0.68. And then on the current move we're on, here's our 25%. We'll make it purple. I don't want to mix up these lines. So we're going to make that purple. All right, and let's identify the 0.5 and the 0.68 here. And these I'll make the shorter lines same color. So instead of extending all the way out, we'll use rays here. Oh. Hold on. Sorry, guys. There. So here's our 0.5 and here's our 0.68. And then we'll delete everything and we'll look. So what levels stick out in our head? All right. So again, I'll go over these levels again. We've got very first line coming up is our 618 retrace from COVID lows to previous high, all-time high to low to high. All right, extension. That's our 618. Then we have our 25% pullback within 4 or 5 points, which is really nothing here. All right, and then we have these other areas. We've got previous all-time high here. I'm gonna make it thicker so you could see it. And then we've got, this is our current breakout. This is our 0.50 to our 0.618 there. Okay. So that's going to tell me, and of course we go back, we could do all sorts of other stuff, but we have no levels. We are in clear skies. We are, in an area now where there's nothing to chart. So what I'm looking at for my pullback areas are, Area 1 is going to be that 618, in between that 618 and a regular 25% pullback. All right, so this would be like kind of our target 1 zone. And as far as true bearish entries, if we lose that 25% on a weekly with a retest, we've got stacked up all on top of each other. All right, we've got our 0.50 from our fibs extension from COVID lows. We've got previous all-time highs, and we've got the initial breakout 0.50. So this area here, this is a hot spot area. So this is really the area I'm looking at between 464, 470. Let's extend that all the way up to like 473 and extend it down to like 461. So this 461 to 471, this $10 range right here, this 10-point range, has 3 major areas of long-term fibs extensions, Fibonacci retracements, and our previous all-time high. So how will I play shorts on this? And it might take a little while to get there as far as short swings. Sure. So I have 3 major levels overall that I'm looking at. A loss of a wick low from last week because it was a quite bearish wick. All right. Entry 1. That would be my entry 1. Daily open and close below it. Target here. There's my first target zone. This is this box would be my continuation, trimming out, keeping just a couple by the bottom of this. Second entry is going to be loss of 0.25 with retest. And our target there is going to be our box. All right. Those are my 2 major zones I'm looking at when we use purely technical, no wave theory. Everybody's wave theory was blown out of the water. We blew it up when our extension, when this wing went way too long. It violates it. When one wing's longer than another, it's violated. All right. So this is really what I'm looking for. So what I would say truly I'm looking for is I am not touching swing puts above 512. I'm just not. And if you want to play them, that's fine. You do you, boo. But for me, 512 is my first put entry. And at that point, my ultimate target's going to be, of course, 500 and 495, which again is our 618 pullback from our extension going back to COVID levels, and then our 25% pullback from our breakout going back to October 30th. All right? So target 1, top of this box. Target 2, bottom of this box. That's our 25% retracement. Once we lose 495 with retest, with retest. Then we have 2 more levels, and I'll just remind you what all these are. This is the 50% retracement from COVID lows to previous all-time highs down to the low with the Ukraine war. We've got our teal line here is our previous all-time high, and then this shorter line here is our 50% retracement from our low to our high of the most recent breakout. So those are the areas I'm looking at on the SPY. Those are the entries I'm looking to take for shorts. If and when we get there, then we'll play ball. And then continuations are, of course, going to be the break and the loss with continuation of previous all-time high, which is around 480. All right. When we break and lose that, then we will go from there. We lose that 618. It could be full retrace at that point. We'll see. I hope you guys were able to make sense of this video and really what I'm looking at. Again, I'll repeat that. The loss with confirmation of 512, I would play that. Split it in half for targets with targets of 506 and then 500. And then again, the loss of 495 is another great setup for playing down to 469, 465, and 464. This 464 to 469 area is major. It's 3 major levels coming together. Again, that's what I'm looking at for the SPY. Thanks, guys. Bye.